All right, everybody, welcome back to the 7th and final round of our 8K here at the TopDeck Expo. Like I said, this is the last round. After this will be a cut to top 16, and then, of course, your final pod. And a lot on the line for these players. Your first qualification to the TopDeck Invitational. And, of course, $2,000 first prize cash. And, of course, there's very valuable points to those people looking to make it to the Invitational over the course of the year. Great way to start your season and your points grind, if you will, off on the right foot. Like I said, a lot on the line here for these players. This pod certainly playing for a seat in the final breakdown. And a lot of decks that you will have certainly seen before if you follow Tournament CEDH at all. I'll say killer roster of commanders and decks that have really shown themselves as the CEDH metagame is developed, as the tournament metagame is developed. Sometimes people like to separate those. I kind of think they're the same. These decks are decks you see over and over again, but, you know, maybe sometimes different configurations, and specifically in the case of someone like Malcolm, he's someone I want to highlight, and you're going to be seeing very shortly. He's someone that kind of defines the archetype. He's someone that is out here grinding every single week, week in and week out, and we see some people succeed with Sisei on the same level, but really no one with the same consistency.
Right.
Really defining the archetype and treading ground with cards that we've never seen before. Every single week, it's like, oh yeah, check it out. Here's this new Planeswalker combo that's better in this spot. And it's like, okay, sure, man. Like, just truly a master of his craft, and someone I am very excited to see in action here.
He's always tinkering with the list. Always, if you compare all his top lists, they're always like way different from each other.
Yeah.
Just like another like hero from Rip and Ship from New York.
Okay.
Yeah, we got some big hitters here. We got the South, Wyatt Smith. We got Las Vegas, Sergio, Victor.
Well, not worldwide. You know,
I don't know where Victor's from.
the country.
And then Malcolm from New York.
You sound like you got it all rolled up.
Yeah.
Close enough. Across the United States.
They're all playing good decks. So
sure. I mean, yeah, we've seen. I mean, last pod, we saw a very different texture than what we're going to see this pod. We saw like control deck really kind of start things off, and then creatures really end up mattering. Very different texture from what we're going to see in this pod, I think. And you know, we can of course dive into that once we get down to the players. But
for sure,
you know, anytime there's a wrong side in the pod, and you can maybe attest to this a little bit, there is pressure on the game to do things that matter other than just develop in the first few turns.
Right.
You can't just spend your turns tapping out to put mana engines in play. You're just going to die. We've seen that over and over again. It's been talked about. Rogside can prevent, with the mana generation from Rograk, and all the powerful Grixis cards you've come to know and love, can present multiple wins in the face of draw engines that are clunky. So we're going to see a very different texture. Even if the game does devolve into a late game, it's going to be very different from what we've seen even before. And that's kind of what's interesting about CEDH is the texture of your games isn't just defined by your archetype, but the archetypes that other people play as well.
And I mean, in this pod, we have Evo, Rogsai, Kinnan, and Sisei. The bottom half of that table they're not highly interactive unless like they drop an impactful stacks piece early on, or like something to slow them down. So I really expect the stack wars to be happening in the top half of the table.
Right.
But I wouldn't count Evo out. It's actually pretty fast. I know Wyatt had a turn 1 win earlier in this tournament as well. So like, don't count it out.
What people say.
Hal always says that this deck is like almost as fast as Rogsai, but not exactly.
Sure. I mean, anytime you're talking about the color red, you have the ability to, you know, whatever, put Dockside in play, make a bunch of mana, have some explosive turns. Green cards allow you to find it. That's the recipe we've seen across a lot of the green decks that exist in this format. Having that flexibility to have those creature tutors, find Dockside, explode from there. That's really where a lot of your speed comes from. So I don't doubt that Evo certainly looking to leverage some of those aspects as well in this game. And of course, I talked about this before. You know, we can get down to the match whenever you want, but Mulligan's going to be an important part of any game of CEDH, and especially when you're talking about playing at the highest level, like these players are. There's a lot on the line here. We talk about it over and over again. Last round of Swiss, playing to get your elimination rounds, a ton on the line for every single player here, and as a result, there's a lot of pressure in your opening hands, and that is even more doubled down on.
We have an interesting storyline with this too. 3 of the players wanted to draw. Malcolm was the only one who wanted to play.
Yeah, I think he needs it. He needs to win 2 today.
So
Ooh, pair
down. A bit of drama before the game right now.
Yeah.
Oh, little pair down action. I did not know. Congratulations. You get updates from our floor coverage. Yeah, there is a single player. That's a nice screen grab. There's a single player looking to not draw, which can't draw. So that's tough, and that's the position you end up in. I mean, I've had that happen in 1v1 tournaments. Happens here as well. Might have an interesting maybe effect on the politics in this game? I don't want to make any kind of accusations, lay any kind of groundwork for anything.
So
but,
I know 3 of these players.
Okay.
I know the top half. Now that they're playing, they're gonna be like, well, then I want the first seed. So let's rumble. Let's go.
Right, yeah, I mean, Malcolm, interestingly, I would absolutely take the draw from the 4th seed if I could. Like, the fact of the matter is he can't.
Exactly.
Like, he can't. So, a lot of pressure on Malcolm, and in a tough spot to start things off, and especially with Rockside going second. I mean, you talk about Evo being able to be explosive as well in the first seat. I'd love to talk about this now. Who do you like? Would you rather be the Evo player, the Rockside? Do you think Sisse can eke it out if some card advantages come down?
So,
who do you want to be in this spot?
Who do I want? Honestly, all I don't want to be is the Kinnan. Okay. So I'm going to be real, because this is Big Flip's Kinnan, and I feel like whatever you flip into could throw the game into any which direction for any of these players. I think if you're Malcolm, you need to win this game. What you want to happen is that the top half of the table, they fight each other, they stop each other. Kinnan puts down, like, I don't know, a Void Winnow or something. I'm not sure. And then yeah, exactly. Something crazy that's just gonna hose the top half. And then you're playing Sisse. You don't care. You do your activations. You win the game. That's how you're gonna win the game as Malcolm here. As the Evo player here, you have to watch out for the Rockside, but you're also on first seed, so if you get a pretty nutty hand, like a turn 2, turn 3 with some interaction that you can stop Rockside or even Kinnan from doing anything, you keep that and you're just going to send it. It's not like the bottom half of the table is going to interact with you anyways. I would just be looking out for what Rockside is mulling to, and then likewise I would be, if I'm Sergio, I'm looking to see what Wyatt is mulling to as well to kind of determine what I'm doing this
what
game.
Hand size, that's going to affect who's the threat, right? When you're talking about, okay, I'm on a mull to 4, I'm not that much of a threat. This kind of stuff matters. And mulligans, you can start the politics from turn 0. You can start politicking and be like, all right, there's a Rockside in second, they got 7 cards, they're a threat. Or if they're at 4 cards, like, okay, well maybe, you don't need that much. That can inform your mulligan decisions, things like that. I talk a little bit about kind of making teammates in CEDH games. And to me, it seems if you're Malcolm or if you're Victor, right? You said both these decks, they're kind of clunky, kind of slow, trying to put big creatures in play. To me, that speaks to they're on the same team.
Right.
Like, I kind of feel like whatever you can do to kind of work with, Victor, both being lower in seed order and looking to kind of resolve the same plan, you would love to make this a 2-player game if possible.
Exactly.
So either getting multiple stacks pieces out, to the extent of maybe even being hey, I can stop this if you can stop this. Those are the kinds of conversations I could see happening. Especially from some savvy players like these that are going to be able to leverage politics. You have to if you want to succeed at a high level in CEDH. That's proven over and over again. I think those 2 players might be able to form a little bit of an ally, allyship here.
For sure.
In this pod.
I think if this game goes long, I would like to probably give it to Sisse or Wyatt to kind of take this game, because he can, in the Evo game plan, sure, it's fast, but you can kind of chill. You have a lot of different A plus B combos and whatnot to just win the game. You're probably chilling. If I'm Sergio right now, honestly, I might consider an early wheel, just disrupt the whole table, throw them off their game, and then you can just win from there. No one's going to be able to stop you after that.
Right. I mean, certainly, I think, especially when you're talking about decks like Sisse especially, they care about very specific pieces. They have a lot of nonsense in their deck.
Exactly.
Here's Nickel Bolus,
gemstone.
multiple gemstones to start things off right. Blue cards pitched to both. We got Mental Misstep from Sergio and Rapid Hybridization from the Kinnan player. All right, well, that's a good way for Victor to start things off a little better. I mean, Kinnan already looking to be a turn 1 play. Mana up to interact on turn 1 is here is Boseiju Who Endures as the first land from Wyatt. Normally a card you see used for its channel ability. Played as the first land. Maybe speaks to a low land count hand.
Yeah, so that's out off the table. One less thing to play around.
Yeah, sure. A very hard card to play around on average, too. One of the big draws, the green, I'd argue.
Yeah, it kills the Basalt, kills the Breach. We're chilling. And we know he doesn't have any better colors in his deck if that's his first land that he's playing.
Absolutely, exactly. Yeah. Blood Crypt, going to be the play from Sergio. Going to use that for a Soul Ring.
Okay,
3 mana already. This could be the wheel setup that you were talking about. Could also be, a host of things, right? Risk 3 is kind of the magic number when you're talking about impactful turn 1 plays. Here's the Rog. That's spell 2. Mindbreak Trap's going to be online for anything played after
and
this.
And just pass the turn.
Over to Kinnan we go.
All right, so just developing our mana. I don't know. Are we just looking for a fast Nas here? What's going on?
I'm sus. I'll say that. Rockside kept a very...
He exiled the Misstep, so he doesn't want that protection, and we know that...
Misstep's the worst card in your hand. I think that says something about your hand.
And then Evo here just dropping the green land and passing. We know they're probably going to maybe Worldly for Dockside.
Yeah, gotta be some kind of tutor, right? There's no other way to make sense. as here is a very quick fetch with Wooded Foothills. Have to imagine it's going to find a trop. It
Okay.
sure will. And Simic Signet
coming
choosing
down.
to play that over
Just set up,
Yeah.
set up.
Good card with Kennen.
It is, but this is also a dream scenario for Rogsai right now. Your opponents are kind of your opponent's
No
just
commander
tapping
in play
out.
from Kennen,
Nothing's
yeah, just putting mana
happening.
in
Like, I think you're big chilling right now. No, you can guess that no one has anything.
Maybe. I mean, Wyatt could have any range of things. Like a very unimpressive turn 1 from the first seat player. Have to imagine there's got to be some combination of interaction tutor, stuff like that. And they get a turn before you do. So we'll see exactly what happens with that as Savannah found off Marsh Flats from Malcolm.
I don't even think this Dockside is good right now. Maybe we're banking on Kinnan and Rogside to drop a bunch of rocks. And
that's something I want to speak to as
Yeah.
well. I have played in pods with actual, specifically Malcolm playing a Sisei deck. I've also played against a lot of Kinnan in the tournaments I've played. Something I noticed off the jump when I played Rogside into these kinds of decks, your Docksides are worse and your fishes don't get fed.
Yep.
There's just a bunch of just creatures, and like your Dockside makes 2. You're like, okay, whatever, yay. And like your fish gets fed like once, and you paid 3 mana for it or whatever. Like, when people talk about these cards, how broken they are, yes, they are. But that's part of the power of these slower decks like Kennen and Sisei, who've had some good starts. And Esper
First draw
a
engine.
great start from Malcolm. Yeah, the 4th-seed player being the first play at engine. We'll see what the response is.
Tainted
It's going to be Tainted
Pact.
Pact from
Okay.
Sergio. A loud statement about what next turn's going to look like for them as a colorless floating there. Get the token out. A lot of conversation here about, is that good to resolve? Thumbs up from everybody.
Yeah,
Mystical
it's
Tutor.
happening.
Okay.
Looks like it's just a value Tainted Pact if we're thinking about the Mystical Tutor.
Yeah, it's interesting to me.
Is
A
it think-
tutor for a tutor when you can't cast it, it seems unexciting. Mox Opal the
Mox
second
Opal,
flip. Doesn't want
plunge.
that. No plunge.
I think we're just looking for action.
Sure. I mean, Tainted
Yeah.
Pact is action, kind of doing the forbidden tutor thing. Now, here's the question. Are you still willing to consider a wheel?
Yes, I think I take the first piece of action here.
Anything at all? Okay.
Yeah. Unless
what
I have,
about
like-
Deadly Rollick in the face of all these creatures? You interested in that?
No, not with how slow this is. I think because this is so slow, I'm just like, I'm just looking to win on my next turn.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're just hungry.
Yeah.
You're hungry. Let me get that win. I mean, at the point at which Kennen plays a Simic Signet on turn 1, do you think maybe they just got interaction rolled up? Like, they're not even playing scared or anything. Like, you're just like, okay,
No,
like,
I-
not even going to represent fears. Like,
I think that's how that big flip deck works. Is you
Don't
sit
do anything.
you sit parasitically, and then next turn you can drop Kinnan, and then by turn 3 there's like something crazy on the board.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that there's something big and large. Still going. A lot of deck has a lot of mana.
Ooh,
Mana
a lot of
Vault
mana
passed.
is gone.
Nox Opal is passed. There goes Mox
A
Amber.
lot
It's
of
a lot
mana
of
is
free mana.
gone.
Naz is getting worse as we're flipping
There's
here.
a piece of action if you have the land,
Berkey could definitely count.
but you've also just gotten rid of a lot of
Yeah,
mana.
you just got rid of a bunch of the zeros. There goes Daze. There's Mystic
Mystic
Remora.
I
Well,
would
let's
hate.
talk about-
I would
won't
hate
want
to
this
stop
Mystic
here.
Remora.
I
do
would
not like
hate
this
to
Mystic
stop
Remora.
here. This is 3 creature decks.
Yeah,
no
yeah.
one's feeding this. Oh no.
Oh, please don't take. I mean, the problem is you've gone through so much of your deck too, though. Is like, what point do you cut your losses?
Right.
Yeah, like Rockside can exile a lot of its deck willy nilly, and it looks like that's
We
exactly
stopped
what we're gonna
there.
do. We
Yeah.
stopped the fish. Maybe.
So we're
I'll say
we're
this, maybe.
yeah, we're banking on gets to the Kinnan's player's turn, and they want to drop their mana rocks. That's how that deck works. Like, you need to develop all your mana rocks. If you want to attack that deck, you either kill the Kinnan twice because it's so easy to recast, or you attack their mana.
Right.
A way to attack their mana is to just play Mystic Remora and draw like 8 cards.
Draw cards off
Yeah.
their mana. That makes a lot of sense. It's here, Simeon Spirit
Simeon.
Guide. That was going to be used for red. Play Rite of Flame. Dockside
Dockside
going to be the
for
play.
3.
For 3, thanks to Esper Sentinel adding 1 more to the mix. Mana positive now. We mentioned kind of unimpressive. Even actually more unimpressive than the one we saw on turn 1 just last round.
Right.
Here we see the first Dockside here coming on turn 2.
And
the
One Ring.
the follow-up.
Okay.
A strong follow-up, I'd argue, especially in the face of a Mystic Remora that could potentially be coming down. Getting this one up under it guarantees basically that you're just going to be better off as the turns progress
Exactly.
than the Mystic Remora player. There's
If-
a lot of pressure on Sergio.
If
to
this
draw
game's
cards.
going long now, I don't know. Mystic Remora was not the piece of action I would have picked there.
I mean, the problem is you can
Yeah.
do so much of your deck. How much more of your mana can you exile and still have a good chance for your other payoff to work?
I think you just look for maybe Necro or something there. I don't know.
Sure. I mean, yeah, but at what point is Necro not going to because their mana's gone? Yeah, it's just so many problems. As
All
here
right.
is the Mystic Remora. I made a claim. I think the card's kind of unimpressive in the face of Sisei and Kennen. Kennen's already gotten a mana rock out, in fact. And it looks like Malcolm might be drawing a card off of... Yep. Esper Sentinel going to go ahead and get a card. Follow-up for Sergio. Going to be a
Signet.
talisman. Good follow-up.
Dockside's getting fed.
Well, the Dockside already came down.
Yeah. Well, the other one.
Sure. I mean, look, at some point, you got to get on the board. As we go back to Victor in the Kennen deck. Now, this turn looks to be a pretty juicy just Kennen go turn if I'm Victor, right? Like, who knows if you want to develop a little bit of other mana, extra other mana, but not feeding the stuff on table seems
Right.
good. And certainly making more mana, which is what Kennen does. also something I'm interested in as well. We'll see exactly where Victor decides to go. Maybe there's combo potential here. I don't know if you can Basalt Mile, whatever. The turns can get explosive at CEDH, but the floor of this turn seems to be pretty good already.
Yeah, you're contending with like, do I want to pay for? Do I want to feed this fish? I think you do. That fish isn't going away anytime soon.
Yeah,
I
not
say
at all.
5
Soul
mana.
replay,
Yeah.
no way. Well,
So
very quick fetch with Polluted Delta. No opposition agent action here. Is a Breeding Pool, 2 life loss for that. 4 total mana right now. Of course, Kennen can change that very quickly.
Yep. Just double your mana.
Yeah, check it out. You know the segment? Yeah, remember that? Yeah, that's better.
I think he might be looking to drop some elves or something. Just some. Keep it simple.
Elves, Kennen and some elves would be great here, actually. Like, it's not that likely underneath a fish
Okay,
that why it's
Kennen
going to be able to
coming
win.
out.
Yeah, there's the Kennen. Okay. Any other follow-ups? The
Paying
answer
to
appears to be
Signet.
yes.
Generate 3.
3 mana here.
Manglehorn.
Manglehorn. Wow. That one doesn't hit the One Ring. One Ring indestructible.
Doesn't hit One Ring.
Does
so
make future Docksides a lot worse, though, and maybe you can put some pressure on this Mystic Remora. Or you can take out the Esper. I mean, you got a lot of options.
It's either Esper or Soul Ring, I think, are the 2 best options. Yeah, a lot of pointing about to happen.
I love Malcolm immediately getting involved in the conversation. This is exactly what I was talking about. If you're Malcolm, you need to team up with
Okay,
Victor.
and I see the pointing to the Esper Sentinel.
Yeah, it cannot go after Esper Sentinel if you're Malcolm. You said, no,
That's your whole turn.
I'm part of your team. Like, please, this is all I have. I'm part of your team. Go after the people that are a lot more developed. And I love this.
Okay, Soul Ring gone.
Exactly.
Okay.
Love that play from Malcolm. Love that play from Victor. Great stuff from both these players. This is what you see at high-level CEDH right here.
Yeah, the argument's probably like, well, you're already playing Manglehorn. Now my Dockside's turned off. Blah, blah, blah.
my
Yeah.
mana doesn't work. I stole the fish in 3 mana. Yeah, no, okay, whatever. Gotta look. Part of it is learning to shut that stuff down too. When the honking
Right.
comes in, you gotta stop the honk. Can't let the honking just go off
Yeah,
unimpeded.
I just don't let my opponents talk. They start talking too much, and I'm just like, all right, it's on the stack. Like,
Yeah,
let's
please,
get this going. Just
who
interrupt
has
their train of
priority?
thought.
What are we doing here? Here goes the fetch from Misty Rainforest very quickly from Malcolm. Gonna develop the mana with Noble Hierarch. Great follow-up here as well. Like I said, this is exactly the kind of play patterns I am used to when I play fish in the face of the Malcolm Sisse
Right.
deck. Or sorry, Malcolm. Malcolm's a creature, so I gotta be careful not to say it like that. The Sisse and Kennen decks is creature decks, you put your fish in play, and it draws like a card. And it's like, what happened? I thought this thing's supposed to be better in Ancestral Recall. So everybody tells me it is. What happened?
This game's looking pretty good for Evo right now.
Yeah, untap, second One Ring activation immediately. That one's going to find a land. Looks to be Arid and Mesa. Going to be the follow-up. So we got some mana action now. Clearly very light on lands to start things off. Did not stop Wyatt, though. Had Singing Spirit Guide plus Red Flame to be able to play their Dockside. And now we got One Ring running. Turn 2 with One Ring. And doesn't look like the game's going to be ending anytime soon.
Yeah, this Manglehorn's actually doing a lot of work. There's 2 Dockside decks here at the table. You can't just drop like your Flicker combo on the Dockside and just win the game now. Same for Malcolm. You can't do that Dockside stuff with the Sisse.
Here's this Lotus Petal coming in for Wyatt. As Lotus Petal's tap, right? Yeah, can't use that
There you
yet.
go.
All right.
Really slowing the game down, but I mean, you
That's
have a
great for
ring
Wyatt. You
out.
have the one ring
Yeah,
running, right? Like,
you're chilling.
So happy about that. The only fear, honestly, if I'm Wyatt, is people like cloning my Dockside. I've seen that
Yeah.
over and over and over again already this weekend. It's just a big part of the texture of CEDH right now. The reason to be playing creature decks, and with 2 creature decks looking across the table at you, I'd be looking at that Dockside like, man, this thing's a liability to still have in play right now.
I'm looking at my outs as Sergio right now, and I'm thinking Thoracle Console
Yeah, Thorkel Console sounding sweet.
or Dockside Final Fortune. I don't know. We can come up with something here.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, that's the thing about Rogsai. As bad as it looks to be for any kind of turbo deck, Rogsai is so efficient
Yeah.
and has, so many tutors for so many like very effective silver bullets. I think a lot of the time people count the deck out, and it ain't to be counted out yet. And I
Right.
think that's definitely where Sergio is right now, still in a good position, despite Manglehorn, despite the Soul Ring going away. Still doing all right.
We saw a lot of mana disappear in that Tainted Pact, but I mean, the deck is still packed full of action. So I don't know how many cards he has in hand. I know we were banking on that Tainted Pact to find us the action, and I don't think Remora drew him a single card this turn cycle. Oh, just the Lotus Petal.
The Lotus Petal.
Yeah,
There
just
you
the
go.
Lotus Petal.
That did
Yeah.
some work. As we go, no play. I mean, just pay for fish, pass. That's kind of what we expected. Like,
Yeah.
there's not a lot you can do in this board state. You can try to like maybe set up for a tutor. A lot of those work at instant speed anyway, so whatever. Just pass the turn. Interaction's not even bad to have here. You have
Right.
Mystic or more you'd like to keep in play.
If he made the land drop or something, maybe play Silas, get that Soul Ring out
Yeah,
next
he
turn.
didn't even have a land
yeah.
drop here. That's actually the most brutal part. Getting the Soul Ring out. Silas comes in tapped, no Death Touch blocker, no thank you. As here is Mox Diamond.
So now this big flip Kinnan is turned on. We're online.
Right.
We're gaming. We have the Mana Rocks out. We've hosed the opponents with our single Manglehorn. Now we're just going to start flipping. We're going to start flipping into crazy stuff. We knew that we're under the safety of the Manglehorn.
Oh,
Ooh.
Mox Diamond on the stack. Red Blast for
Blast
Kinnan.
coming down.
Gonna trigger Esper Sentinel. Card drawn very quickly for Malcolm, thanks to that. Going to work. Blows up Kinnan. Mox Diamond on the stack. That one's going to happen. Discard Scalding Tarn. All right, so you mentioned big flips. Ready to go? No.
No.
I
Not
might
yet.
have made some mana of Signet in response.
And then we just recast the
But we're just
Kinnan.
recasting Kinnan
Yeah.
no matter what. And if we don't have that much interaction, it just doesn't matter that much.
Right.
So whatever. Here we are. We can hold up 2 mana with our Mox Diamond. We're doing fine. Cooking. And on end step, Swords to
coming
Plowshare.
down. Oh
Back
no.
on Kinnan. No way.
Disaster.
Card coming for Sergio. Thanks to Mystic Moore. Any allegiance that existed
It's gone.
after this source out the window.
Hey man, I didn't blow up
Take
your
that
Esper
somewhere
Sentinel.
else.
Yeah.
I've seen this before. Kinnan is not staying in play. And this is, I think, really actually heads up by Malcolm. Set the game up to where it's slow. The game's about the One Ring and the fish that are in play. Manglehorn is playing work for you already. You don't need that much more help. The only player that can contest you in these long games looks to be the Kinnan deck. Keep that
Exactly.
Kinnan off the table, and you are uncontested ahead, thanks to your ability to operate with creatures.
Let's see where Malcolm takes this next.
Cradle, the add to Malcolm. 2 mana already,
yeah,
already an Ancient Tomb.
Generating
Impressive.
a lot of mana right now.
Hard to activate Sisay still, but might still just be worth getting into play, having the commander ready, and
Right.
you know, maybe whatever, something colorful that you play next turn could potentially turn on a Sisay activation right from the jump. Not clear. Plenty of other good creatures to put into play too. Yeah, we are going to reach for Sisay using that Ancient Tomb mana, kind of, from Gaia's Cradle. 2 mana from Cradle, 1 from Savannah. That's a Sisay, and now 2 mana left over for Malcolm with commander already in play.
Alrighty, so pretty simple. Sitting back now. I do want to point out that quietly here, the top half of this table just drew a bunch of cards off of what just happened with the
I mean,
swords,
kind of what? It was just
Mox
swords plus
Diamond.
Mox Diamond?
Yeah, I don't know.
The secret player I think who's drawn kind of the most off of all this interaction
Yeah.
has been Malcolm with the Esper
Malcolm,
Sentinel, right?
that's
Because
true.
he drew off the Red Blast as
That's
well.
true.
Been very quiet about it. Like I said, I think Malcolm's navigating this game great. From what we can see,
Yeah.
not good. We can't hear obviously, but from what we can see, I love the piloting of this game. Victor, kind of, he's had a good start, but his cards are kind of working against him a little bit as Kinnan no longer works. Has to put more mana into play, and like Manglehorn slowing the game down, which favors the Sisay deck. You really want Malcolm to be forced to do something other than develop his board. And he's
Exactly.
just not. As 3 more cards come for Wyatt, we'll see if Wyatt can get out from under this first, though, because those cards from One Ring are really starting to add
Yeah,
up.
his
We've drawn
hand's
6.
full. His
Yeah.
hand is full. All right, Captain Lotus
Lotus
Petal,
Petal finds
E2.
Enlightened Tutor.
before the draw step.
Right, we drew from One Ring before
Yeah.
the draw step, so now we can Enlighten Tutor before the draw happens. A lot of draws going to be triggered from this Enlighten Tutor. Malcolm and Sergio both getting a card off of that Enlighten Tutor.
Knowing
Now what-
Wyatt, I think he's just gonna jam.
Jam what? What are we jamming?
Breach maybe? I don't know.
Into the face of a
Yeah.
Mystic War? I mean, that's kind of brilliant. In the face of Mystic War and Manglehorn?
I think he
That's
doesn't
kinda
care.
tough. All right, I mean, LED does work
Yeah.
under Manglehorn. That's one of the only ones I know that works under Manglehorn, but it does work.
Let's see what he gets. Or is he gonna get another draw engine? We're just gonna drop a Ristic? Like, what are we doing?
God, there's no way we're shooting a Ristic. Because Wyatt's problem really has been mana this whole game.
Yeah.
Right, Dockside did a lot of the early work. We paid for that using
LED.
LED.
I'm telling you, man, this breach is
might
coming
be
down.
in.
Yeah.
Retro! Again, this card works under Manglehorn. You don't have to tap it. Why? I don't know, but you don't have to tap it. Probably supposed to mirror Black Lotus or something. I don't know. Whatever. It's nonsense.
I think he has a pretty good if he's getting this LED, I think he's feeling pretty confident, or he just is not scared. He's like, yeah, I don't think you guys can stop me. I just saw like a bunch of cards that get Tame Impacted away. I don't remember what's in the pile, but I know
You
that.
can wait until the breach resolves. You don't have to crack the LED. You just
Exactly.
back LED. Okay, breach. Does this work? I don't have to crack LED, so if it doesn't work, you still just have breach shot up for whatever. Maybe it's a wheel. Maybe it's just a One Ring activation. Crack my
Exactly.
Lotus thing and then draw 4 cards. Maybe that's good enough. I don't know.
Let's see how he plays this.
Let's see what happens here. Here's a Wooded Foothills as the land per turn.
Woody
Gonna
Footy.
immediately crack that one. Another card for breach if that is what's coming. A little bit to think about here as far as the mana. These 4-color decks, of course, not trivial to figure the mana out. Very gunky board state, but still somehow the breach kill's looking to be a pretty clean way to win. Don't have that many problems to solve. Just need to dodge some interaction, which could be a tall task. I mean, we've talked a little bit about the creatures and the impacts on the board, but now I think it's actually time, if we're talking about breach, to talk about Rogsai and the stack interaction, specifically the amount of stack interaction you can provide, because Rograk's already in play. You have mana up. You have your fish still in play. There's a breach. Underworld Breach. This is a win attempt. We know about an LED.
And we know he has a piece of interaction. He's been very strategically keeping that volcanic island up throughout all the turn cycles.
Oh, you think that means interaction? Could just be a little bit Hollywood.
I don't think he's bluffing.
He's got it?
Yeah, I think he's been just very greedy about it as well.
Really? I mean, how many things does he really want to interact with?
I don't know.
Maybe?
Yeah, maybe the fish. Maybe he held up his own red blast. I don't know.
We'll see. A lot of speculation here. I am interested to see exactly what Sergio has to say about this Underworld Breach. It looks like it just happens.
LED coming down.
LED follow-up.
Yeah, once the breach is down, not a lot of things counter breach, and once you have it, it's kind of...
A ton of stuff in our sector. But you got like, what, Swan Song, all the forces, you got the Fierce...
Sure.
You got like everything. Oh, it's tapped.
Comes in tapped, that's right.
Gotta stop that.
Luckily, he can read it, and he can crack it.
Maybe he can't read it, it could be foreign language.
Mine is. And I think one time Lauren's was, and he didn't realize that you can crack it because it was in Japanese or something.
Incredible. Play with English cards, people. As a crack does happen, you were right. Swan Song, Red Blast. To the bin. Now, those are still available to Wyatt, thanks to the escape mechanic available via Underworld Breach, making 3 blue. So can cast either Swan Song or Red Blast. And I didn't see... Do we have Freeze already?
I didn't see Brain Freeze. I see a Mystical Tutor. Wait, what are we doing with this?
Maybe I should have figured that out instead of looking at the interaction.
I don't know how many cards we have. I mean, there's like I don't know, you could maybe play...
I mean, if the Freeze was tucked in there somewhere, then we're just done.
Mystical Tutor for Freeze, Thrasios, activate, Thrasios, Freeze, I don't know.
That's a lot of that. I mean, maybe.
Okay, LED coming out.
I like this. I don't think enough players do this. I'm going to call this out real quick. Playing LED again and making more mana before you actually make your move, provided you have the cards to do it, is almost always correct.
Yeah.
These people love to just like make exactly enough mana and then do whatever, and they get caught on the stack somewhere. They get caught getting their breach bounced or whatever. Cast your LED again. Make your mana first.
Oh, Windfall.
Windfall was the old border card. I thought it might have been a Brain Freeze. It's not. It's a Windfall. And that will complicate this board quite a bit.
This is about to be really crazy. Sergio has drawn a lot of cards.
Well, Malcolm can end up drawing into like silence effects.
Yep.
We still have a Noble Hierarch available. This could get weird.
This is, I'm not going to...
Sergio's been drawing a ton. I mean, we talk a lot about Windfall.
Singular Mox Opal available as well.
Mox Diamond.
Or Mox Diamond, yeah.
That makes 2 mana. Who knows what that could represent?
Makes 1, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Kidding's dead. We killed that.
We killed that twice, yeah.
That thing's big dead.
Kin dies once, it's okay. Kin dies twice.
I don't know what interaction the Kin has for 2, but I mean, this is very non-traditional Breach win. And we've seen, Breach often means lights out. Look at the cards that Wyatt has access to. Only 3 cards left in Graveyard with this Windfall in the stack.
Red Blast not available. Oh, wait. Well, it could be if
we crack
the LED.
And then, But then we have to exile the LED. That's
exactly.
Bad. So this Windfall is kind of susceptible to counter magic.
Yeah. I like this. I mean, like I said, this is just not a clear... And it looks like it's resolving. It's happening.
Touch the Spirit Realm. Gonna hit the bin. Chose not to use that one. This Windfall's gonna happen. Didn't get a great look at... I didn't see any interaction, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Dark Ritual from Sergio opted not to cast. Makes a lot of sense. Want access to the blue mana.
Some deals happening on stream right now.
Okay, so we've drawn our cards.
So now everyone has to get a think phase.
Interestingly, Wyatt didn't crack LED yet.
Yeah,
wanted to put the cards in the graveyard?
Probably.
Just immediately go for Windfall again?
Most likely.
Okay.
He wants to see what he gets.
Well, the table's going to get to see the works, and it is a lot of interaction.
There's the Pact of Negation.
That's a huge one here.
Grinding Station.
Spell Pierce among the mix. Dress Down going to stop a lot of the creature shenanigans that could happen. Cracking LED here. Pact available with all those cards. That Pact is so big.
Yeah.
Because now we're not taxed on mana. We're not taxed on cards. We just discarded a pile of cards, and we, like, unless we get caught with multiple, it has to be multiple things, right? Pact has to be already on the stack, and then some other stuff has to happen from there in order for you to really get caught here. And I think Wyatt, savvy player, like I said, we're in round 7. These players playing for top 16. I have to imagine he's gonna.
He's probably gonna win, yeah.
He's gonna have it figured out. Make enough mana. Make sure he doesn't get caught with Pact on the stack. Gonna play around this Manglehorn because again, LED not an issue. And I think we're gonna be able to find it here. I mean, I don't. Maybe Roxai can still have a lot, right?
Yeah.
And there isn't that much payoff in the yard. So if we do, or we are able to fight with this Mystic Remora and the rest of the table through all this stuff, Sergio's in a great spot if he gets an untap.
Exactly.
But he has to get an untap. And that's right now looking to be a really, really tall ask.
What can stop this nonsense? I don't know. Maybe like a spell on the stack, Pact on the stack, on top of that.
It has to be so much. Yeah, it has to be like, whatever. We're starting off with Silence, Pact on the stack, okay, plus Fierce, plus, okay, now you used your Spell Pierce, and it has to be a big fight.
Yeah.
But we've seen that before. It's not outside the realm of possibility.
It could happen, but, you know, I'm not going to give it a high chance. Hey, man, that LED comes in tapped. Give him the...
Come on. What, is there any respect for the integrity of this game?
Yeah, you need to see a crazy amount of interaction, like a perfect just like storm in everyone's hands to stop this. One person cannot stop this.
Yeah, I agree. This needs to be an effort from the table. But with all the cards coming, especially if it windfalls the card again, you know, it's possible.
Now,
it's possible.
I think both of these, he's continuing to windfall. Another thing I think we didn't talk about that could stop this, there's 2 green decks at this table with green available.
Okay.
Boseiju is on the table.
Right, a card that we talked about when Wyatt played at turn 1, been pretty quiet about it otherwise.
Now, here's the issue. Boseiju for Kinnan is turned off.
Right, but not for Sisse. It's
Silence. Okay,
exactly
okay.
what we were talking about. This is how it starts. Because Sergio, again, now, here we go.
Yeah.
Draw trigger on the stack. You know how this goes. So now we have to start to build up this stack. And Wyatt, very savvy, says, hey, I'm responding to that Mystic Remora trigger. Look, I need to kind of minimize the damage as far as the drawing cards off of Mystic Remora, because if this silence is going to resolve, it's going to involve a lot of help from Sergio.
Swan Song?
Swan Song to kick things off. Pact still available for Wyatt. And that's going to trigger Mystic Remora again. Here comes a card for Sergio.
And we know the misstep's gone to that Gemstone Cavern.
Correct.
So.
No misstep available as far as the free interaction. Still a lot of other things. Days also turned off as far as Sergio's free interaction goes.
Right.
Still a lot to think about. Force. I mean, Mind Break Traps online. We're talking about
your own Pact.
Yeah, your own Pact, which, I mean, we can pay for easily with a ritual. Available.
Yeah, you can pay for it with the Born Upon the Wind.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, and that's not even to mention what could Kinnan have.
Exactly.
I don't know. If I'm Kinnan, I think I would be pretty reserved about using my interaction. There's going to be a lot of table talk, and that's what we're seeing here. Action's going to slow down here a little bit as players really need to figure out this puzzle. How can we try to get this silence to resolve and stop Wyatt from winning this turn?
You want to see a lot more communication from this table. I know, like a game yesterday, the table did not communicate. Someone tapped out for Thrasios. Then they were able to draw 2 cards, found interaction they couldn't use anymore. Like, they got to be careful about how they want to do this, and maybe how much they even want to stop this if they were going into Roxai's turn right after.
Well, if Roxai has to use a lot of their resources, that could end up being okay for you. Things like Pact's negation, right? If they fire off a Pact, it resolves, they have to pay. That's good for you. Maybe you get a turn. Or if they have to demonic consultation, they have to go finding for some interaction, then there's a lot to think about. So, apparently the talk is heating up. All right, give me some update from the back here.
So
what we got
now,
from floor coverage?
The whole table is like, we're cooked. Malcolm's like, you guys need to use your interaction. I know you have it. We just windfalled. Sergio goes, I don't know if I want to use this because then I'm just king making. I don't know if I can win on my turn, but I know if I pass, one of you guys is going to win. Victor's dead silent, but Malcolm's like, you have to use it, and Wyatt's like, can you guys just concede? Sergio's like, can we draw? Malcolm's like, we're not drawing, that's not happening.
Yeah, can't have that.
Malcolm's revealing he cast the silence, but it's like big drama right now. Malcolm's like, I'm not going to cast my spells, you guys have to, I know you have it. It's like big drama.
I love this.
Yeah.
This is something else you get when you're watching, you're observing, or you're playing high stakes, high level CEDH. The politicking gets involved because, as he mentioned, Victor dead silent. He's probably got something. Sergio trying to talk about king making, but he's probably the most favored.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know what he's talking about.
If all this goes down, he's the most favored. So a little bit of conversation there, maybe even a little bit of deception, I'd say. either way.
I think Victor has something. If he's dead
I
silent.
think Victor has something
Yeah.
Now the question is, who's going to cast what? Are people actually thinking they're cooked? Maybe. I mean, we mentioned it's going to take a lot. And Sergio's going to have to use their resources.
Something you see with these types of politics, too, actually, is it just really... It's going to be a salty sweet? All right. But, yeah, something you see with these politics is you just ask a lot of questions. You can suss out what's in other people's hands, and then you're like, okay, well, now that I have the information I need, now I'm going to start casting my spells. I do that shit a lot, so.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I think we're going to see some of here, too. I mean, especially people like Sergio, I don't think he's sitting here thinking about king making. I think he's sitting there licking his chops, and if this fight happens, I need them invested because I want to draw cards off my Mystic more. We'll see. I really like the drama. This is something I wish we could see more of in other formats. You don't get that same personality, that same fire that you do in CEDH, something I really enjoy about tournaments. Not for everybody. I really enjoy it as an observer, and I'm really enjoying it here. As you see a lot of hand movements, a lot of conversation here, not just between us, but between the players, as we can see what's actually on the stack over there to the far left. There's a silence, a draw trigger underneath that, Swan Song's top of the stack, and players are, to some degree, figuring out what's going to happen next.
Right.
What does the next piece of the puzzle need to look like? And I do agree, actually, with Malcolm's assessment. Sergio needs to get involved. I think he's playing face-up.
I think so.
Malcolm's playing face-up.
Yeah, I don't think he has anything else.
Yeah, and I think that's where he needs to be. I mean, if Malcolm's going to give himself the best chance to win this game, he needs to be playing face-up. Say, hey,
he needs to get to his
I'll
next
kick
turn.
it off.
Yeah.
It's good for you to resolve this silence. Like, this isn't just like a Born Upon the Wind or anything like that. This is good for you.
Things are happening.
So, I think you should protect this. And look, you can
Okay,
see
hand
Malcolm
motions
really
happening.
pleading.
He's begging, please. Victor just
I can't
sitting
hear
there
anything, but I
with
know what that
the
means.
three pieces of interaction in Victor's hand, and he's like, I'm just not going to say
Oh,
anything.
no, I'm chilling. I'm big chilling. And as Malcolm pleaded, and I think this is where you have to be. Really solidified.
Okay. Something. What's going on?
That was a fist
That
bump.
was a fist bump?
Usually indicates concession of some kind. Maybe that was just a friendly, hey, we're all just vibing here?
I'm trying to get word from the street. It's a draw. We're going to have a salty sweet.
They have drawn the game.
Malcolm's piss. Damon, Malcolm, salty sweet.
Damon, Malcolm, salty sweet. Are they in for it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Let's have the argument.
Okay, what's happening?
We're going to bring the... They didn't
Okay, so
ID
they've drawn.
here. They've drawn.
They have drawn. But Malcolm couldn't draw, maybe.
No. I see a deflecting SWAT. I see a pyroblast.
Oh my
Oh
God! the guy
no!
that cast it.
Oh no!
What is he doing? Oh my gosh! And he's
Fierce
doing
guardianship.
this?
What the hell?
What is happening? Oh my gosh! Okay, all right. I have been doing
I'm salty.
coverage
I'm salty now.
I've been doing coverage for a long time.
What are we doing here?
Never seen such reservation for casting spells. This game was not over.
Malcolm didn't even need to agree to that. He should have just shut the fierce off.
There's so much game left to play, and we just called it.
Oh my God!
What is
I
happening?
can't believe this. If I was Malcolm, I would have at least cast that fierce guardianship before agreeing to
Put the
that.
pact on the
Yeah.
stack.
Show some more initiative
I
at
mean,
that
he's
point.
right. You do need Sergio's help, but he had it.
Yep.
He had the help.
I don't know what to say. I see the SWAT. I saw SWAT and online pyro.
This is.
I straight up go, we're going to call it salty sweet. They're like, yeah, we're in.
This is ridiculous.
This
is ridiculous.
Maybe the best way to hear it is from the players themselves, which.
I'm salty.
Are we getting them over? I mean, are we
Yeah.
getting two of them here to talk it out, or what's
Yeah. We're gonna bring it in. Anyone who wants to join from there can show up. We're about to have a
let's get
salty
the whole
sweet.
plot because I don't know what happened. I mean, obviously I know what happened. There's an ID.
Yes.
I don't know what the conversation looked like.
So we have a request that any salty sweet we do is sponsored by Propaganda MC.
Okay. Bring them all in. I want them to all just argue and bicker
Yeah,
on
I
stream.
need to hear. Some
What
of this.
the heck is going on?
Yeah,
bring
them all
them in.
in.
I'm
Bring them
going to
all in.
argue with
I
them.
wanna hear them talk
I'm going to
over
yell
me.
at them.
We got time. We got time till the next round. This is a professional broadcast.
Sometimes.
This is not one of those times.
Yeah, we're
abandoning all illusions of professionalism, taking that out the window. And it is time to figure out
What happened?
what is going on at
What?
high level CEDH. Because I don't know. what's happening anymore. And this is, look, you can't do this in 60 card formats. You can bring in players, you can talk about matches, you can be like, oh, I can't believe he had that or whatever. I can't believe he said that. The pin trick from LSV, you can talk about that guy. You don't get this.
This is
You don't get whatever we're about to listen to, whatever we're about to witness.
This is nonsense. If you ever do this to me, I'm going to
this.
beat your ass. Like,
I don't think you can say that on live. Okay, whatever. YouTube, I'm sorry, we didn't mean it. For legal reasons, we're joking. I mean, look, an analogy I'll bring up while we're waiting for the players to get over here and, I guess, talk it out. An analogy I'll bring up is sometimes you'll play a 60-card tournament. It'll go to time. All right? If you draw, both players are knocked out. If either player wins, you're in. So that you get this conversation that starts between who would win the game. But you're not allowed under the rules of the game to start flipping cards. You can reveal hands, you can talk, that's it. And you end up in these conversations that sometimes lead into a concession, sometimes lead into a draw, sometimes get a little heated.
yeah.
That is the extent of my experience seeing anything like this. The final round of a tournament, Malcolm, as far as we understood it, could be wrong, obviously. A lot of things can change with breakers. We're relatively new to the tournament scene, tournament map, stuff like that. I cannot speak to what's going to happen, but from what we thought was the case, Malcolm couldn't draw.
All right, we got the boys.
We drew.
All right, Salty Sweet in the house. Bring him in.
Yeah, I guess here they come.
All right, get it, boys, get it. Get Malcolm.
I guess.
You want to sit? Probably want Malcolm to sit, right? Because he gets some like, yeah.
All right, here, let me move over here.
Malcolm definitely gets to sit.
I can drive this a little bit.
Do it.
Oh, all right.
Malcolm's here.
Malcolm, I got a seat for you, friend. All right. Welcome everybody. Yeah, feel free to sit down.
Oh, thank
Come
you.
take a seat. I want to make sure you're heard loud and clear. And
also very
for you
big.
in the back, make sure to speak up. These mics have a lot of things. Anyways, 7th round of Swiss, the final round.
Oh, Lord.
Talk to me about. Let's start light. Talk to me about the conversation that happened going into this round. What was said? My understanding was some players wanted to draw, some didn't.
They three wanted to draw. I am a winning in. I was at 15 points. So I was like, all right, I gotta play this out.
Okay.
I can't take a draw here to begin with. I have to at least try to win.
Okay.
Because I'm at 15 points, I might bubble out if I go for a draw.
All right.
So I said, all right, we'll play it out. We started the game. I had a pretty decent hand. I was
Okay,
like,
I agree.
all right, I have good progression. We're moving. We're making moves. Everybody's doing shit. We're chilling. We killed the Kinnan twice, so we took Kinnan mostly
Saw
out
that.
of
Yeah.
contention.
Heads up.
He's the faster deck, so I wanted to make sure that he was
Don't disagree
playing
with
a
the
little
play
slow. Rockside went to 5 and played a bunch of mana, and then we kind of slowed their roll.
Okay.
And so it was between me and Akiri Thrasios, basically.
All right.
I knew Akiri Thrasios was getting a lot of advantage with the One Ring, and I'm trying to get ahead of them and trying to make sure that I have interaction.
Okay.
I was holding up Touch the Spirit Realm before the Windfall.
I saw that. Yeah, it was discarded to the Windfall.
Yeah, I thought about using it on the One Ring in response to the activation and upkeep, so
Okay.
to draw 2 cards instead of 3. But I figured I might as well save my mana and see what goes on. They went for the Windfall. I picked up Silence, Force of Will,
And Fierce?
Force and Fierce, and blue mana and a blue card that threw to Fierce.
Perfect.
It's a Force.
Couldn't ask for a better.
But when he Windfalled, he put even more counter magic in the graveyard.
Yeah,
I
Pact was huge.
I was worried about the Swan Song and the
Red Blast.
And I thought, all right, if I can force him to use his 2 counters and use 6 of his cards, then we might be able to get ahead, and then he can't cast the Windfall anymore, and the turn is over.
Okay, I want to let's stop here. So when the Windfall happens, right? And we were talking in the booth right away. It was like, okay, this is kind of tricky. A lot of interaction can happen. Especially if I called it out immediately. If you find a silence, that's great for the whole table.
Exactly.
You can get some help from Rogsai. There's actually potential to stop this. A lot of free interaction in the Rogsai deck.
Absolutely.
We could see a game continued, and depending on what resources we use, maybe Rogsai doesn't win. There's a game to be played.
So we know
we have that
Deadly Relic
conversation.
is gone.
Right.
We know Deadly Relic is gone.
Right.
We're looking for Fierce. We're looking for help. Any kind of help. I
Okay.
only needed 1 spell to get thrown in to help me out to stop this. So I asked Rockside to help me back this up, and I cast the Silence.
I saw that. The sounds on the stack.
Okay,
Casting
I'm gonna
spell.
interject. What the hell is happening? I see. two-piece interaction. Two-piece interaction. You probably had interaction. He had interaction. What are we doing?
The main problem
You didn't even
here
cast your fierce.
was that if
No, because
if
I
he
know.
goes
So here's
all
what
in-
happens. If I go
Yeah.
all in with all my counter magic, we go into Rocksai's turn, and Rocksai has 13 cards in hand.
Okay.
And we're
Half the
dead.
deck's gone.
I have.
Why is that
I
true?
have no.
Their
I have
mana's
no-
in play, half their deck's gone.
But I have no interaction.
They
I have
they
none.
were
You don't know
not
that.
inclined to.
No, I know I'm out.
You have an Esper Sentinel.
I might draw one card, and I doubt I'm drawing free
There's
interaction.
Mangalorn's still in play. The mana's gone.
Dockside's off. His mana, you saw it went away to Tainted Pact. I
What?
don't know.
The Dockside's still there.
Talk
He's
to me
cloning.
about the conversation.
It comes in tap.
Once that silence is on the stack, I saw a lot of hand movements, a lot of stuff.
So
you couldn't draw,
Yeah,
right?
No, I
That's what
couldn't.
you just told me.
yeah.
You drew?
I had to.
No, you
I'm
you
gonna
had to.
lose.
You had spells in your
I'm
hand,
gonna
did you not?
lose. If he doesn't back me up, I don't have enough interaction.
Well, so do they. They also lose.
Yes, but they're willing to lose. They have more points than I do. They're already solidified.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Sergio was willing to lose and not back up him at all. He
passed priority.
you weren't
I
trying to
told
win
him
the game?
the condition I gave. The
Well,
condition I
he
gave
Was he
was
actually, or
the-
did he just
no,
say
The
that?
condition I
The
gave
main-
was
the
if
main-
both of you
I
pass
didn't
priority.
You didn't say that.
I will draw.
He did not say that.
And
but-
I said, if both of you are willing to lose this game, I will draw. Because nobody knew about my other interaction. I just asked Rocksai to back me up. I said, I have one thing.
Well, he's still gonna feed me after the
I
silence
would've-
gets countered.
So, hey, I would have been like, yeah, you're right. I'm gonna start dropping my spells too. We're drawing cards on Mr.
Yeah.
I'm getting
That's where I was
fed.
at.
Maybe we stop him, and maybe
he's
I win.
getting
I
cards.
don't know.
I feel like Sergio was in the best position to win, and I was trying to sandbag some of my
And
interactions.
the position's not even that
Like,
bad.
you're probably gonna win if they stop him.
The position's not even that bad for the Evo player, because we still have the One Ring in play. You can cut it short if your
Exactly.
hand's good enough. Pass the turn,
Draw
let
4
Breach get
cards.
sacrificed. Next turn, 4 cards coming. Good luck.
The problem is, if I get another turn, I'm going off. The cards in my hand were insane.
Good luck.
The cards in my hand were insane.
Sergio has 900 cards.
I'm not casting any spells. The cards in my hand.
Obviously,
were
you
insane.
ID'd.
Yeah.
You didn't cast any spells.
No, the cards in my hand. The cards in my hand set me up to a point where I don't need to cast spells anymore. So you can't counter me unless you have a sniper. I'm going to activate Sisei until you die.
I'm gonna make a statement.
He doesn't care.
I'm gonna make a statement.
That was my plan.
But I had to give it in because they decided.
You could light me on fire. I'm not accepting a draw there.
Yeah, dude, I would have never drawn there. What are we doing?
I had to.
What are we doing?
Look,
It's a draw or a
The
loss.
shit out of me and I'll just counter him and then I win.
Yeah, it's
there's
draw
a
or
game
loss.
to be played.
It's a draw
No
or loss
respect
to
for
me.
the integrity from any of you. What is this?
What is
Except
going
me.
on?
I'm in the worst position. It's a draw or a loss for me at that point. If they're passing priority and they're not going to help me and the silence is going to get countered, because no matter what I do, I don't have enough counter magic to go above him. He has 2 pieces in the yard and enough mana to cast them and enough cards left to still cast the Windfall after. So like there's no, I can't get around it.
Two more points I want to make. First, what kind of precedent are we setting here,
I
John?
don't like it. I'm not a
What
fan.
are we setting? Are we here to play Magic?
You guys put us on stream.
Are we
so-
here to play
What
Magic?
the hell?
Oh, we're not here to play
Don't put
Magic.
this shit on me.
What are you doing?
I play
You,
Rock.
you can easily win. This is good for you. Why are you not casting your spells?
I play Rocksai so I can play the least amount of Magic in tournaments. I'm either winning in 5 minutes or losing in 5 minutes. That's how it goes.
So just to confirm, because no one's reported, was it a draw?
Yes.
All right. And with that, that's a great question. As we just answered the question, is it a draw? Do you have any chance? Any chance at all?
Light. It's very,
I
very
believe.
weak.
Are you on 0
I'm
or are
at
you on
16.
0.01?
I'm at 16.
I'm
and
talking about
on, like,
percent chance to make it.
I think it's probably like a 5% chance at best. It depends on who wins and
No
what,
way, I
what
believe.
positions they win in.
I believe.
He's one of 4 people who had 15 points going into the last round.
So
I was
you're
at 15th place.
you're at 16 points after this draw.
I'm on the bubble. I was on the bubble to begin
Sorry, there were
with.
6,
So depending on who wins below me and how many and what the percentages are, I
we
could
all had
still
6.
make it at 16. But it's
Gotcha.
very narrow. And depending on who drew. If people drew and things like that, that influences it too. So I am depending on the winds of fate, basically.
Now we're repping a lot of different regions here. Sorry, where are you from?
Where am I from?
Yes.
California.
California. We got California. We got the South.
Yeah, I'm from
We got Las
Tennessee.
Vegas. We got
New York.
Oh my
Representing Rip and Ship right
Rip
here.
and Ship Gaming.
All these regions, nobody showed up to play Magic.
I'm getting news from other Rip and Ship Gaming. Jorman just won another game.
Rip and Ship, showing out those. Jorman, elected to play Magic.
You think Jorman would have taken the draw? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
What would Jorman do? Eminence merch coming soon.
Oh man,
I've been doing this a
No,
long
but
time, gentlemen.
Honestly,
This is
playing
nuts.
playing against
You're all
Jordan
nuts.
is what has made this Sisei deck what it is. I'm not gonna lie to you. Jordan pushes me to my limits. We play Magic 3-4 days a week.
And you have an impressive resume to show for it in CDH.
Thank you.
Maybe a slight blemish here today.
No, I think.
No,
I think I
okay.
just-
No regrets. No regrets.
I do not have regrets. I played Magic to the best of my ability. I climbed back up from being 1-3, and I am trying my hardest. You can't play Magic when people don't want you to play Magic. That's what I believe. That's what I'm saying here. If people are going to decide that they don't want to play Magic, you can't play Magic. So
Well, we got the chat is on fire. We got Rip and Chip here. Says Malcolm's the only one making sense. So I think there's a little bit of bias there, if I had to guess.
A little.
We got a Shawnee in here talking all kinds of nonsense about Rockside because he just can't give it a break. That's okay.
Rockside is such a deck, Zane.
It is-
Rockside is such a
It's
deck.
one of the decks of all
I'm
time.
not responsible for the players, okay? I would have never drawn there. I would
I
have been
know
like,
you
I'm
wouldn't
winning
have.
this
You
game.
would have pushed.
I'm
So
a
here we are.
This team famously not big on the IP.
No, I am not.
What happened to cast your spells? You know what? It's okay. We're here. The biggest CDH stage ever played in paper.
And
200
people don't wanna
players.
win. People don't want to win.
The first invite on the
They
line.
don't want it.
All the points.
I think the difference is between like not wanting to play Magic and wanting to win. Like they're here to win.
Entire top 16
Play Magic.
gets paid out 300. It's most money on the line. Given this so much on the line, and we're here. We're taking draws.
Is it too late to join this tournament?
Yeah, I'll
No.
take 6 losses. Put me in, coach.
The truth is, guys, I needed the win, but I would rather have 1 point than 0. And so if I'm being forced into a draw by people not wanting to interact at a position where somebody
Is 1
winning,
point
is
not the
winning the
same
game,
as 0?
is winning the game.
All right. If it's not the
No.
same, maybe you're right. Maybe you're
It's
right.
the difference between a 0.01%
That game wasn't
chance
over.
and it
I'll say
wasn't.
that. The
It
game was
wasn't.
not over.
It was not.
And then it ended. And then our stream cut short. We abandoned all illusions
logic.
of professionalism and
Let us
integrity
play
of
our
the game.
spells. Let us see
You
what
didn't do that.
happens.
You were there.
I
You
saw
had Nana.
Squat,
You had-
Naro, Fierce, Force. He has interaction. He was just sitting there going like, I probably have like ESG Boseiju right now. Like,
Like why am I blowing myself out? Why am I blowing myself out and using all of my counter magic going into a wrong side turn with 15 cards? That's insane. That's literally asking to lose the game because there's no way that Kidden with his 1 mana is going to get around wrong size 15 card hand.
In League of Legends, sometimes these players don't flash like Alistar. Like they just don't like use.
He's
their
talking about League of
spells
Legends.
and stuff. You know, in this game, they
Engage.
just saved all their fucking counter spells and all that shit for top 16.
This analogy makes sense to somebody, I promise.
Save my flash.
It ain't me.
Yeah, they
Sometimes you gotta
save
engage
their
team
flash
fight.
for the next game.
Saving our ultimate for
Sometimes you
We
gotta
got-
engage
we
the
got
team
everybody
fight.
here, by the way.
Sometimes you gotta just go because sometimes when you just hide and they outfarm you, you just lose. So, in my case, a draw is better than 0 points. I may not make top 16 off of this, but what was I gonna do?
A lot of
Throw myself out
assumptions
and
made.
still lose?
A lot of assumptions made, not a lot of spells being cast. Maybe that's what CDH is. I'll tell you what.
The
I think there's a good chance we're going to see a lot of you have the opportunity to play additional Magic. Maybe all of you. Maybe.
On the semis.
Play some Magic in top 16.
I get there.
A lot on the line then. I don't think this trick's going to work again. Any final
I don't like this.
things to add?
Yeah, I got final things to add.
I'm sure.
Yeah, this was just a lot of different flavors of copium. You just pick which copium you want. You want the draw copium, the not use my counter spells copium. Like, which one do you want? I'm not gonna win copium. Like,
You got the whole prescription.
what's happening right now?
The opioid epidemic.
No, you didn't let the silence resolve. No.
I meant the swan song.
Yeah.
This is all right.
I think everybody just needs to go outside for. I don't play black.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
We're all gonna go outside.
Yeah, this is all right. I've had enough. I've had enough of all of you.
Big time.
I've had enough of you telling me not to cast spells. It's all lies. And
Good luck to everyone.
that's what we got.
I gotta go Mega's Matt, but
3, maybe 4 of your top 16, everyone. That's gonna do it for this round. That's CEDH, I guess.
I don't like it. Not a fan.
We'll see you for the top 16
Not a fan. I love
soon.
this shit because I'm a messy bitch.
Don't go anywhere.